So we're starting the tour of Shahkam, and the plan is to give a bit of a virtual view through the video of what the company looks like. So we've just entered one of our gates, gate number 3, and our first area that we're heading towards is going to be our yarn store. And we just added that yarn store 3 years ago. We've moved them around a few times, and this yarn store is capable of stocking close to 3 months worth of yarn in-house. And the main aim for that is to have good inventory control and to maintain organized level of inventory so that we can go straight into knitting. So like you can see, it's all palletized, and we have different areas for our combed and our semi-combed, for our heathers, and also for our PC counts. So like this, each and every bag of yarn is notated, stocked up, CVC, PC, heathers. Like I said before, no such issues with regard to supplying the yarn to the in-house knitting and having and being able to maintain a minimum stock in-house so we can turn around those quick turn orders at any time and not have to wait for supply. From there, we're going to head into 2 of our 6 knitting halls, and as you can see, it's right next to the yarn store. The whole idea is to maintain quick movement and quick communication between the two. This is one of our striper knitting halls. In all, we have 55 stripers from Meyer, Tarot, and Fukuhara. We have around six color stripers in the middle of them as well. Each striper costs around 53,000 to 55,000 euros, so it's taken quite a while to be able to maintain this type of an inventory of our machinery base. And this, of course, allows us to maintain and develop striper orders on a quick lead time because it's right there. From here, before we go into the other knitting halls, since we're very close to it, we're going to head into yarn dyeing, and that is more to give you the spatial disposition and the geographical location of how close actually the yarn dyeing is to our striper knitting, which then allows for again, the yarn, once it's dyed, to go into the striper knitting, which we just saw. So if you take a look to the left, this is our original yarn dyeing hall. And if you take a look to the right, so to our right is our computerized soft winding department, which then feeds our yarn dyeing, which we again are going through one more time. We have the 2 labs here as well. We're going to go back to knitting because it's very close, and just take a quick look at our solid knitting machines. We have close to 150 solid knitting machines. We're just in the process of adding in some double knit machines as well. We have jersey and PK solid knitting machines, and we have specialized fleece knitting machines as well. So we're going into the low shrinkage fleece knitting machine department right now. You'll see it here. And all of this was added in the last couple of years. Special made to order department for low shrinkage fleece knitting. Beyond that, we are just about to complete the construction and the extension of this hall right here to where our double knit machines will be coming in. And that will then extend as a 1 hall for solid knitting machines. Upstairs, above our yarn dyeing machines, you can see our solid knitting further, two more further halls of our solid knitting machines, which again host around 100 of the 150 knitting machines that we have in solid for solid fabrics. You'll see there's some heather being done as well. So we have multiple sources of yarn. Again, we have the ecru, we have the dyed, we have the heather, we have the CVC, we have the PC, and we of course have the garment dyed as well. So we're going to head now towards our back out of the solid fleece knitting department, the flat knitting, which is collar knitting. So like you can see, ample space to stock the yarn, and of course all machines notated from Matsuya, computerized. So we've now, I hope we've managed to capture some of the spatial disposition again of how knitting and yarn dyeing within the factory works. We're going to now head back towards solid dyeing, which is of course the majority of our dyeing department. So like I said, we do around 15,000 kgs of yarn dyeing, and we do around 30,000 to 35,000 kgs of solid dyeing, and fabric finishing is also there. So naturally some of the fabric that gets finished from our striper knitting obviously gets washed and finished on the finishing machines, the stenters, the compactors, the tumblers, whatever route that is decided to maintain the required torquing, shrinkage, weft, and straightening of the fabric. So from here we're going to now head back. We're going to have to go past yarn dyeing and back to the original structure actually of our company. So we're now heading towards our fabric dyeing, and you'll see that we have the finishing at the end of it, but we're going to head straight to the dyeing. So we have now here 11 6T dyeing machines from Fong's. 5 are housed in this hall. All very close together, therefore allowing operators to control the lots and compare the color matching. Okay, so we've entered the other second dyeing hall, which houses the 6 T's to take us to a total of 11. And from here we're going to go further into another of our dyeing halls, which then hosts some 2T, 3T, and different various capacities of dyeing machines, and also quite a host of sampling dyeing machines. So you'll see there are a couple of sampling dyeing machines here, and then there's a 4T or 4T, more sampling machines, and a 2T, and just various dyeing machines that will get us to the 30,000 kgs, 35,000 kgs a day that are required in solid dyeing. As we move forward, we start entering into the finishing department. So you'll see one of our open width compactors from Centix over here. You'll see Corino slitting machine, a few other finishing machines, and then we come to one of our Bruckners. We have 2 in all. These are basically our stenters. So this is the Bruckner hall, quite big. In front of it is another of our stenters. So right now we're at 2 stenters. And here it is. Now, this is the stenter. So you see the fabrication is being done. It's going through. And just to give you some perspective, this is our entry system for our factory. Again, we have thumbprint facilities. Okay, so before going into sewing, we should actually stop at our fabric storage area. So to the left is our Eku knitted fabric. So once each and every lot is knitted, it's inspected here, it's given its code, and of course from here it goes to dyeing. So this is basically our fabric storage department. This is all Eku knitted storage, and of course to the right and in front are all dyed lots. So any cutting department, we have 12 big units and we have around 5 small units. They can come in at any time, locate their fabric, ask for the certificate, make sure that it has been inspected and approved, testing has been done, and then they can take the fabric from the forklift operator will deliver the fabric to their units. The main idea for this is to make sure that there's no mixing, there's no loss of fabric, and that so we have visual verification of production to make sure that it's being done. And of course, in control of inventory and many other benefits, obviously. Okay, so we're now heading into sewing, cutting, sewing, and packing actually. This is unit number 9. So you'll see that part of the process of the finishing garment checking is going on. At the same time, the packing is going on over there. Right here you have automated clipping, production control boards, and sewing. So we are now heading into unit number 10, one of the 12 units. You can see some of our production control boards over there, and you'll see garment checking is going on and garment packing is going on, and of course right next to it is the sewing department, and beyond that is the cutting department. So we have automated clipping machines, we have sewing going on, and cutting. So what we try to do is have better communication between the 3 different departments, cutting, sewing, and packing, all within the one hall, so that the manager, the quality team, the customer is able to control the manufacturing of their garment, and of course they can then prefer certain chase orders before a regular order of theirs. We can combine 2 or 3 sewing units together and take out 15, 18,000, 20,000 garments a day of one particular order. Jeans being made, cut to same formula, cutting, sewing, and packing on the side. So we walk through this unit, which is actually unit number 8. And from here, we have a connection to walk straight into unit number 7. It's coal, rice husk, and corn husk. So that we have basically our own energy system for steam to our dyeing, and then of course we have generator backup for our electricity, and we are now thinking about going to heavy furnace oil generators as well to provide 3 different energy sources for electricity. And of course we have natural gas and the biofuel gas for our boilers. So you'll see garments are being made. In all, we have a total of around 3,000 stitchers when we put all of them together in the 12 units. Each unit will have around 250 sewers in it. Here is unit number 5, same formula. And if you look at the alleyway, you'll notice that at the end of it is unit number 4. We'll continue to walk towards there. Right now, we're going to take a quick peek into unit number 1 downstairs. Beyond it is unit number 2 on the other side of the wall. And next to it is unit number 3, which we're going to walk through because on the other side of unit number 3 is our main store. So you'll see cutting and sewing and packing is combined in this unit because it's running on a flow system. And on the other side of unit number 3 is our main store, which basically houses our accessories, our stitching threads, needles, general store items, embroidery threads, poly bags, you name it. All types of various general items required by the units. So they're able to come here. So basically, if you're working in a unit, you head towards the fabric store, pick up your fabric, if you're the cutting supervisor, and then you head towards the main store to pick up your accessories if you're the finishing supervisor. You bring it into your unit, you take inventory of it, your order runs, you're ready to go. Okay, so we're heading into the carton warehouse, and you'll see that it's quite sizable. Obviously, there's a requirement now from a CT perspective, and there's also a requirement from a destination processing perspective to be able to have all the cartons right there in front of you and be able to mark them for different destinations. At the end of this, you'll see a lot of our Sherpa fabric is lying over there against the wall. That's because Sherpa orders are one of our specialities, and they do require a lot of space to hold it. So that basically is what half of that wall is for, and the other half in the cartons against the wall are our hangers. Again, we have to have hangers in-house and make sure that they're always available for us. And of course, these are all the finished goods. We walked past the needle detection area, which is a separate office. So we're going to head into one of the audit rooms. So like you see, on the other side are the cartons, and on this side are the audits, and one of the audits is ongoing right now as well. So we're heading into our garment washing and garment dyeing department. Which is kind of next to our yarn dyeing and knitting as well. So you'll see they have their own tumblers, and then they have their garment dyeing machines. They have a dry process area for their denim, and they have garment washing as well. So this is our quality lab, newly upgraded. We have all different types of quality tests that are occurring here. Weight, crocking, button pull testing, yarn testing, dyes and chemicals, mixing. This is the wet processing area. So we're heading into merchandising, marketing, and production planning and control. So here is really where all the different communication is being done with the buyers. We have an R&D department as well here. Trial runs and different pre-production meetings are occurring as well. This is our design department. Right now we have 3 designers. Of course, we're going to be upgrading to another 2 very soon. Must. And as we move forward, we'll head into our sampling. And of course, here we have our GGD cutting machines and our sampling fabric holding area, sampling sewing, and sampling quality and packing as well. It's quite a big sampling department. We want it to be bigger, and we're working on that as well. For perspective, dyeing is that way, knitting is over here, beyond that is sewing, beyond that is the boiler we looked at outside of unit number 7. Below us is yarn dyeing, and rewinding and self-winding. To the left of that is garment dyeing. It's pretty much all here. Okay, so we're back on the cart, and we're gonna just do a bit of a run through to see the space. Here's our map, by the way, very important. Here's our second entry gate system with thumbprint impressions. Here's our HR office and visitor room right next to it, basically to try to control the ins and outs of the factory, make sure that only employees are allowed inside the facility, though there are 7,000. So now we're just going to take a quick look through into the one of our 2 cafeterias. Looks tasty. So that concludes the short tour of the facility.